Creating a board game is a design challenge because you have to create something that is functional, which means you can use it, and decorative, which means that it looks good. The game board can look like a creative drawing or design, and the pieces even look like small sculptures. A game that's beautifully designed can seem great, but if it's not fun to play, it can get boring very quickly. After we create our game board today, I'm going to borrow a die from one of my other games. You could also borrow game pieces from a game that you have at home, or you could find small objects around the house to use instead. You could use items like marker tops, buttons, or small toys. In the first matchup of my game, I'll be pitting President versus President. Stay till the end of the video to see who wins. To make our board game today, we're going to need paper, a pencil and eraser, and something to color with. You may want to find something you can trace to make the spaces on the game board. Step 1. We're going to need to make the beginning and the end on the game board. These spaces are going to be a little bit bigger because that's where all the pieces are going to be when they're waiting for their turn. I'm using these stencils, but you could freehand draw the shapes or find other things to trace. The next step, we're going to draw the path. I draw the path as a line first and then add the spaces after. Now it's time to add the spaces. I'm going to be using lots of different shapes for my spaces because each shape is going to have a different meaning. And it's okay to make adjustments. As you can see, I'm moving some of the spaces around to adjust the space between each shape so that it's a little bit more even. Now all the spaces are in place. Everything's spaced out pretty well. It's easy to see what the path is. So the next step is to add details and color. This is the part where if you had a theme for your game, the details that you add would support the theme of your game. I'm going for something that's a little more colorful and abstract, so I'm going to be making it look really bright and colorful. Don't forget to think about the colors that you're using. I used dark colors in the background so that the spaces of my game board would stand out. And I also used yellow on a few of the spaces because they're the worst spaces in the game. The pink, orange, and red spaces are related because they're close together on the color wheel. They all have the color red in common, which helps to make them more unified. Here's our finished game board. All the spaces are colored, the background is colored. As a drawing, it looks like a really interesting abstract picture. As a game board, I made each different type of space have different rules. The hexagons are a space where you roll again. The circles, if you land on those, you skip to the next circle. If you land on a rectangle, you lose a turn. If you land on a triangle, you move back to the previous triangle. So those kind of things are what make the game interesting and more challenging, because you don't know who's going to win. Even if you're way far ahead, these special spaces make it possible for other players to catch up with you, and make it possible for you to move back, and it makes the game a little bit more unpredictable. So I hope you like the way that your game turned out, and I will see you next time. Bye.